David, Lonnie, Bob, Ryan, John, and Lou. Thank you. So, John and I are going to the beach on Tuesday morning.
Yay!
Yes. And the week before we go to the beach, maybe those of you who travel have this same experience, that it seems like the week before we go, there's so much more to do because all of this needs to get done before we go. And then it seems like the week that we get back, there's all this stuff to do still, but I'm working on that in my consciousness. And so this week was very busy, and there was a lot going on. I finished my Science of Mind 102 class, and I've been busy getting ready for Science of Mind 103 and getting the notebook written in alignment with what we believe and teach and bringing things into clarity. And every Tuesday morning, I go and have lunch with my sister. She's not here this morning. I'll talk to her about that. But I go to have lunch with her, and I had made some chicken soup because it was cold, and I went to Earth Fare to get a hot organic baguette. Is there anything better than that? And I ran into Brian Biro, and we just had this joy fest in the middle of Earth Fare, and it was brief, but it was very powerful and very wonderful, and I left Earth Fare and just felt like I was on top of the world. And I'm driving from Earth Fare to Mayheck to meet my sister, and the phone rang. And it was Sandra. And she said that she had gotten up that morning and found Wayne. And Sandra has had foot surgery a few weeks ago, so she's in a wheelchair. Some of you saw that we have a parking space reserved for her so that she can get up and get out of the car in her wheelchair. And she said, I just didn't know who else to call. And so she called me, and I probably broke about 100 speeding limits driving from downtown Asheville up to Fletcher, where they live, and went in there and just held her pretty much all day as she grieved the sudden loss of her beloved Wayne. And that was a very intense day for all of us. After the funeral home had come and removed the body out of the house, and she had, handed over her credit card to pay for all of the things that come along with someone's passing, I just kind of held my head, and she said, just go home. You've been here all day, just go home. So I did. And John was teaching practitioner class, and I just went home and went to bed and thought I'd let my subconscious process all of that. And woke up Wednesday morning, and Wednesday morning is our monthly board meeting, so got up and got dressed and pulled all the papers together and, put on my I'm on top of my game hat and went through the board meeting. And at that board meeting, we chose as a board to go ahead and go forward with the repair of the entire stream bank, which hasn't gotten any better for all of my treatments and for all of the live stakes, the hundreds of live stakes that have been planted in it. And R.J. Taylor is heading that up. We're working with 2 different engineering firms in Western North Carolina that can handle that type of project. And the cash flow out of that is $18,000 until we can get to a point where we can bid it out, and then we can go and talk to a bank. And I had my I'm on top of it all hat, got my game in order. This is something we need to do. We live in an abundant universe where there's more than enough for all, and we can fix and care for this piece of God land that we have. And Wednesday, went to bed and had trouble sleeping because I thought my subconscious was going to process through all this stuff. But sometimes it needs a little bit more help than me just suppressing and pushing things down and saying, put on your I'm on top of my game hat and pull it all together and do that. And I started feeling like, I don't know if you've ever done this, but I started feeling very overwhelmed and questioning myself. Do I really have what it takes 40 years I've been doing this, and I'm still, when I get stressed out, questioning, do I have what it takes to live this life, to be in leadership in this community, and to pull off something that at the moment seemed like such a big deal of fixing all of this stream bank? Do I have what it takes to be able to drop everything and go and hold someone when there's no one else there to hold them? Do I have that inside of me? Am I really as cool as I think I am? Am I really as smart as I put on? I know I'm as good looking as I do. And so I questioned that. And I went to bed, and I woke up in the middle of the night with a voice so clearly speaking to me. And it just said one thing. It said, remember who you are. Remember who you are. You don't have to have the answers to everything right away. You don't have to have the solutions. You don't even have to know what the next step is. What you have to do is remember who you are. And so I sat up in bed and I just took it in as a mantra. I remember who I am. I'm Barbara Waterhouse. I can do anything. I have proved that over and over and over again that I can handle any circumstance. We built this place. We didn't have a nickel when we built this place. And anyone who knows anything will say, well, you can't do that. But that's what we do. We do the impossible. We do what's in front of us, knowing that whatever we need will show up at the moment that it's needed. And if it hasn't shown up, we don't need it yet. What a break. If you don't know the answer, you don't need to know it yet, because you will know at the moment you need to, whatever it is that you need to know. You will do whatever you need to do at the moment that you need to do it. But we get all control-y and say, oh no, I want guarantees and I want insurance policies and I want to know 3 weeks from tomorrow exactly what I need to do. Life is not like that. We are an energetic flow of changing reality, blinking in and out of form in nanoseconds. At the moment that what we need is required, it will appear. And so I sat there Wednesday night in the middle of the night and just chanted, I remember who I am. I remember who I am. And I invite you to chant that with me just for a few minutes. I remember who I am. 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 And for me, it awakened something that even briefly I had let get away from me, under the illusion that there's anything outside that can overwhelm me, or take anything away from me, or be more than I've got. As if there is any circumstance in my life that I created that can be bigger than me. It's impossible, because I created it. And as Ernest Holmes says in the Science of Mind textbook, the creator is always greater than the creation. Because everything in our life is our creation. And so when we find ourselves looking at a mountain, it may look like a mountain, but we are bigger than the mountain because we put that mountain there. And as Jesus would say, if we want to say to that mountain, move, it must move. How about that? You got Bible and Jesus all at once. We are individualized expressions of all that is. We are not a little piece of God. We are not even a manifestation of God. We were talking in Monday night, we are like God-godding. It's a new word. You can quote me on that. God is godding as us. Spirit is spiriting as us. The divine is divining, and not like with the little rods. The divine is divining as us. All that we are spirit. All that spirit is us. All that spirit is us. Because in order for a unity to exist, it must exist in its totality at every point simultaneously. Thomas Troward. That means in order for us to be. People say, why do you start that treatment? Have since day one. Why do you start that treatment with, I know that God is in this place because we are here? What does that mean? What that means is that in order for time and space to hold together, in order for us to be alive, all of God must be present in its totality at every point simultaneously, or the physics won't hold up, the math won't hold up, the time and space continuum won't hold up, because we are here, we are evidence of the presence of the divine in us, as us, is us now, fully whole and complete. We are not just only human. We are not just a little piece of God. We are not about to get it together. We are fully orbed, magnificent beings alive and well on planet Earth. Remember who you are. If you look at your diagnosis, remember who you are. You are greater than any diagnosis. If you look at your bank account, remember who you are. You are greater than any amount of money. If you look at your problem, remember who you are. You are bigger than any problem. Ernest says, such is the power of right thinking, that it is the solution to every problem, the answer to every question. That's who we are. We have that in us, and we put it there. Why? Well, I don't know. Would need some therapy for that. I think maybe we're gems, G-E-M, and that occasionally we want to just shine a little brighter, and so we get polished. And the way that we get polished is to rub the rough edges off, or to clean up that which we are and rub the debris of life off. And it's kind of like having sand that cleans us up and that allows us to shine more brightly. And then people complain about the polishing process. Well, do you want to shine or not? You know, if you want to just be dull, then go stick your head in the sand and pretend like the world is out to get you and you don't have any power, and that will be your life. But it's only your life because you are so freaking magnificent and powerful that you could create dullness in the midst of light. Isn't that amazing? People come up to me, and usually in counseling sessions, although I don't have those much anymore, they come up to me and say, oh, I don't have any money. I go, wow, you are so powerful. You have held back the abundance and the prosperity of the entire universe. At the point of view, you are so strong and powerful that you can keep all of your good away. It's amazing to me. Can you imagine if you just stopped resisting and remembered who you are and opened up? People say, oh, nobody loves me. Nobody likes me. Wow, there is only love. You are created out of love. Love is what you are. And you are able to convince yourself that you are all alone. There are 7.5 billion of us on the planet, and some would say there's only one of us, reflected back 7.5 billion times, and that's only on this world. You are so powerful that you can push away the love of your essence and your being so that you can feel alone. I bow down to some people. You know, you are just amazing in your power. So can you imagine if you remembered who you were? If every day you could look in the mirror or look inside your own soul and say, I'm Barbara Waterhouse. Say your name. Say it with a little more power. Yes. That's who I am. I have triumphed over everything so far. Why in the world do I give up on myself so quickly? It's not like the earth is going to open up and swallow me. I've jumped over hurdles. I've crossed oceans. I've created things out of thin air. I have manifested so many things that I don't even remember it anymore. I have found depths inside of myself and power and ability inside of me that can take me through anything. Why am I so weak on myself? I remember who I am. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was my subconscious, if it was an angel, if it was the voice of God itself, waking me from sound sleep and saying in a voice so clearly, remember who you are. All you have to do is remember who you are. And if you remember who you are, everything will shift because we are vibrational beings. We are beings of light, we are beings of love, and everything in our experience is a reflection of that vibration that we hold. Granted, you can put the bushel baskets over the light. You can do that and cast a shadow. But how do you get shadows in your life? Only because you covered up your own light. Think about that. Oh, it's so dark. Well, take the basket off your head. Really? I mean, what do we do with this stuff? I stand up here and say, God is all that there is. That means that this presence and power of the universe, this one thing, is what each of us is. We don't get to be the cool kids, and the people down the road don't get it. It's what everybody is. We are all individualized expressions of God godding as us. That means we have all of the power. Sometimes in my treatment work, I say, I speak my word now, commanding all of the power of creation right here and right now. People say, well, what's the other word? That's bold. That's bold. Well, yes, it is. Why in the world should we go through this life meek? Why in the world should every time something happens, it knocks us over? Don't do that. Stand tall. Hold your head up. Walk proud. Be the God being that you have been created to be. Do the good works that you have been created to do. We are the point of spirit expressing as us. We're the point of healing. We're the point of wholeness. We're the point of vision. We're the point of creation, not to mention the point of health and prosperity and love and joy. That is who we are. We didn't have to do anything to get it. We can't lose it. It can never be taken from us. It is what we are. Stand proud, stand tall. And if a problem comes and looks at you in the face and says, boo, you tell it. I remember who I am. I'm Barbara Waterhouse. I'm say your name. I put you here and I can take you out. And so it is.
So we all learned a word today, godding, verb, as in, are you godding today? Apparently you are. Very good. Wonderful. Who do we have here for the first time today? Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being with us today. We're delighted you're here. And someone back over here, wonderful. Thank you all for being here. What you're going to get is a little card. If you fill that out and put it in the basket or bring it to our welcome center, we will let you know about all the great things that happen around here without overwhelming you with information. Yes. And welcome home, Bruce family. It's so good to have you in the room. Thank you for being with us from Ohio. Yay. Yay. Wonderful. Excellent. What a great day. So let's have our prosperity acceptors come forward. I'll grab these checks that are sitting here just waiting to go in a basket. And if you'll take out what it is you're going to give, we will bless it. Not that big a deal blessing. Little pieces of paper with writing all over them. God wrote these things. So here's what I know. That the presence and the power of the One dwells everywhere always. Just as Barbara said. That Godness is Godding everywhere. And that we are in the midst of it. Because it is who and what we are. It's who and what our money is too. Our money is an expression of the divine. And we express by sharing it, by receiving it and giving it where it does good. Sometimes that's paying a bill. Sometimes it's loving on this center. And in this moment, that's where we're focused. So in this giving, I know that God dwells in its wholeness. In this giving, we express into life a greater sense of who we are. And I know that we are blessed by doing this and that all is well. And I know that as we do it very consciously. We do it by speaking these words together aloud. I freely and joyously give from the abundance and fullness of my overflowing wealth. knowing my gift goes with love as it touches and blesses the world. And so it is.